What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. As always, of course, different this week. Two massive Easter games coming up. Of course, one on the Friday, one on the Monday. But as always, hope you guys are doing well. Of course, decided to go a day earlier so it can give time for people to watch, etc. over the busy Easter period. But yeah, back with Neil tonight. He's back on the live. Of course, going to be talking about the Tranmere game, of course, going into more depth over the Salford game. Of course, get your comments in as always. Keep up the amazing support. I think over 150 new subscribers over the last sort of week or so. So now we're only 117 away from 4,500. So keep smashing the support. Do smash the like button if you enjoy. Of course, if you are watching on the replay, do leave your comments down below, your score prediction. But yeah, of course, thanks to everyone that's already here. We've got Ruins, Alessio up there, effing gas. Even into Matt's, even into Wayne, even into Joe Bones, 1, 2, 3, even in Charlie, even in lads, up the gas. Matt saying, good to have you back. Harry saying, when's the kids' first game? Yeah. But yeah, starting it off, of course, going over the Tranmere game, of course, unchanged again after our win last week against Bradford. Of course, only getting the point. We did have Anderton back on the bench. It's good to see, of course, Josh Grant as well. He come on in the second half. Of course, no Evans still either, but hopefully he can be back. But yeah, what was your? I'm guessing. You weren't really surprised on the lineup, especially after the win last week and pretty much the domination. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the first half performance?
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect it to pick itself on what happened, obviously, previously with Bradford. I was going in at half time. If you look at the first half as a whole, going at half time, I was really happy, to be honest. Thought bossed it, well in control without opening any doors. We were well in control of what we needed to do in that game. We kept it off and we had it in good areas. We kept on moving. You thinking this is just a matter of time where we just keep moving it as we have done previously to grind them down, wait for the opening. And then once you get one in front, Rovers tend to do what they do by shutting the game out. They don't necessarily go and look for the second unless it really presents itself to go and do it, because we're not a side that's blessed with loads and loads of goals at the moment. But when we do get our noses in front, you sort of think, well, we ain't getting beat here. Mm-hmm. So going in at half time, I thought, more of the same. It was like I said, there wasn't really much being created. But as far as ball retention, game management, control of what we needed to do, there wasn't much that Tranmere were doing to threaten. But again, if you was Mickey Mellon, you'd probably say, well, do you know what? You're doing fine. You're doing just fine. We haven't really opened any doors either. They've had a lot of the ball in safe areas. I doubt he'd have been desperately concerned. There was probably the same sort of chat at halftime from both managers to say, just go in, go up a gear. Both of us go up a gear here to try and see what we can do. That was my take on the first half, really, really comfortable, to the point where I didn't see anything from Tranmere to think there's a concern or a threat here. But I was always throughout the game thinking this is an opportunity that we can't miss with the personnel that Tranmere had missing. That was an ideal opportunity to go and win that game for me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Even into Riley as well. Even in boys, how's it going? All good. Appreciate you tuning in, and of course everyone that's tuned in. But yeah, like you said, it was pretty much a lot of possession. There was, like I said on the, my video, it was a lot of balls going in the box, but there wasn't, I think, whenever sort of Collins comes up against a more experienced back line, he seems to struggle. Didn't really get in the game in the first half. I think there were a lot of good crosses going in the box, but like you said, they didn't really do much. To be fair, they did look good though on the break. Out of nowhere, we'd either give it away or they'd get the ball forward really quickly. But like you said, overall it was just possession, but not really doing much. And obviously, we didn't really get Elliot Anderson in the game first half either, did we? We pretty much seen him come into it to his own and get him more on the ball, which obviously helped us a lot as well. Jack's voice saying on the way in past what it might have been. Yeah. We stopped in the same services as the Plymouth players coach was just leaving as well. Even into Josh Seaborn as well. Even in lads, hope you both keeping well. See you soon at the Mem. Yeah, all good, mate. I hope you're doing well also. Evening to Vaughan as always. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, keep smashing the like button. Keep letting us know your thoughts. But what was your thoughts on the first half? Because of course it was only about 10 minutes in, and then we conceded the goal. What was your thoughts on the goal? Because it just come out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the goals come from obviously their goalkeeper essentially just getting rid, but how it's come about is so unlike us. How it's come about is so unlike us to the point where it's not even a concern for me to think, oh, that's something we got to work on. It's just a massive error that you never thought you'd see Taylor and Connolly. You never saw it coming. Like their communication and their understanding is normally, bang on. I don't think they've had an issue to date. And for what happened on Saturday, that was just, I don't know where it come from because we've never even seen it being close to being an issue before. Yeah. And the ball's just split them. It's just split right through the middle of them. And before you know it, Emmings is through and they're chasing. Mm-hmm. He's taken it well, to be honest. He's got it out of his feet. He set himself, and Belly's not really got a chance. But as far as the error, it's a 1 in a million for them two. You just never see that sort of thing happening with them two. And then after that, not so long after, I think Nevitt had a chance where Taylor's. I don't even think he's misread the pitch. The pitch looked really lively.
It bounced over him, didn't it?
It looked really lively, and he probably got the flight of the ball right. It's just the pitch was just that lively. It skipped him, and Nevitt's gone through, and thankfully Belly's belly, and he's normally let him one, but I don't think 2 1-on-1s. You back him to get one of them, and thankfully he stopped that one because that would have been us out of sight at 2-0.
Yeah, that'd have been game over.
I don't see us as a side that can claw back 2 goals, to be honest. At the minute, the way we are. So we've kept us in it, and then we've probed a little bit. We've gotten back to getting good ball. I thought Coots was good again as far as trying to dictate play and get us in good areas. But as far as being dominant in the final third, it seemed to me very much like Elliot Anderson was going to have to create and take his own chances. No, I mean, you talk about crosses going into the box. We're not a crossing team. I don't know what, you're right. We did it plenty Saturday, but we're not a crossing side. We don't tend to do that an awful lot. And when it went in there, I mean, I saw Mellon's interview afterwards, and I sort of agreed with him. They can put as many crosses in the box, but if there's no one in there, then I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the case, I said it last week. We're sort of the final bit of the jigsaw for us is that ruthless number 9. That bloke who just comes alive in the box, and we're as good as Collins has been for us, and he's learnt the role well, and he's done just fine. If we had that out and out clinical, ruthless number 9 that just lived for chances in the box, didn't do much else in the game, just lived in the 18-yard box and came alive when the ball came, I think we'd be a proper side. Yeah. But yeah, probably, come the end of it, a point was probably fair, to be honest. Tranmere say, well, we could have gone 2-0 up, but it was 2-0 up. It was our fault. We should have put it to bed, and they could have said we could have 3 points. But again, we had a lot of the ball. We tried to do a lot with it as far as move it and get them into good areas. Which again, us in the final third, we're a side that really have to get our noses in front. If we don't, the game changes.
Yeah, I completely agree. Evening to Elliot Davis as well. Matt's is saying it was a good draw, but glass was only half full. Rovers had enough to win that. Ruin saying automatic slipping away now. 2-3 weeks ago, I was much more hopeful, but now we are lucky to get top 7 with our fixtures left. Evening to Tom as well. Always tuning in. Just joined, lads. Nice one, both of you. Can we chat about Nicholson and him next season? Yeah, we will get on to certain players in a minute, as we always do, and go over the ratings. A few more as well. Jack's Ford saying, I did say after the game, regardless of whether you think a point was good or we deserve more, Belly's 1-on-1 was massive. I agree. 2-0, game over. I mean, even though we had a lot of the ball, you can have a lot of the ball. It was the same at Carlisle. Had a lot of the ball, didn't really do nothing. But I don't think. I mean, you could probably say a draw, was fair. But if any team was gonna win that based on chances, it would have been Tranmere, because we didn't create. And I said that it's just really frustrating. I think one player who we definitely missed and we're missing at the moment is Evans. because he can unlock out of nowhere. He can do anything. I think we, again, we'll get on to more, individual in a minute, but we just struggle to get that, either the last pass or the last shot, or make the right decision at the right moment, really. Even into Yes, I'm Cornish as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Evening, lads. Sion Spence is on turnaround king. Yeah, well, he wasn't even in the squad. Obviously, who was it? Harry's Loft and Sion Spence weren't even in the squad. Even into Paul as well, changing the subject, but on Saturday morning bumped into Clark Harris on Corn Street with the posh squad, wished him luck against City and did the trick. You could tell he ate City. Yeah, it was good to see him score a goal, even into Dave as well. But yeah, it was just really frustrating. But obviously getting on to sort of player ratings, Belly, of course, didn't have to do loads, but of course, like you talked about as well, the save was quality. It could have been 2-0, but apart from that, obviously he tried to come up a bit more further as well, didn't he? To get in, to try and get us up the pitch, but pretty average really. Couldn't really do nothing about the goal. It was a good finish. What was your thoughts on Luca Hall?
I mean, we'll go through this now, and again, it's one of them games that I haven't got much bad to say about anything that went on there on Saturday. As a whole, I thought we did all the right things. We're just desperately missing that final little piece of the jigsaw. As far as our ball retention and the possession, we did go through a stage when we were starting to transition into this side where we did keep it pointlessly. There were times where we did keep it pointlessly, but what you can see what we're trying to do with the ball retention is move these sides around and grind them down. So when you get to that last 20 minutes, they're struggling to keep up with them legs wise, and holes are being opened. But Tranmere, they've been pretty much sat in that top 7 all season. They're a decent outfit. Yeah. They're pretty savvy, and they know how to like navigate themselves a way around holding on to a draw or nicking a win, etc. And another day, you play a side who's in and around 12, 13, 14, that door would have probably been open. But you've gone to Tranmere and got a point. It's not the be all and end all, But as far as Luca Hall goes, again, no issues, not a problem. I think you just wipe your mouth again, go into Salford at home, and look to just try and get that edge again and go up that extra gear to try and get our nose in front, because that hinges us, I think, as far as the side. Get your noses in front. That's where our season lies. We have to keep going in front in games.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I thought he was solid Luca Hall, and of course his header pretty much got the assist, if you want to call it, for Elliot Anderson's goal as well. And yeah, overall solid. Even into George's saw Evans in the car park on Saturday, said he was hoping to be back. Yeah, I think we really do miss him. You can see by his stats and how he's done for us, this season. And yeah, with him being out, it's just really frustrating, because we're pretty much, we're relying a lot on Elliot Anderson in quite a lot of games. But still, I think it's just that little bit, wasn't it? Just that little tiny bit. And like you said, it's always going to be hard with Tranmere, pretty much all season. When we played them the earlier game, I didn't think they were that good. But obviously, it was annoying that we were, of course, the game before, went to extra time. It sort of took us out of it. But, like you said, they've been in the top 7 all season. They've got the best home record. You can see why they don't concede many goals either. They might not have the possession, but they now have the experience and, the good, defenders at the back, really, to see a lot of games out. Loft was also, he wasn't in the squad either, was he? Even to Steve Nolan as well, even in chaps, Toffee Gas here. Solid point at Tranmere. I thought Belshaw's saves were critical. Playoffs incoming, hoping to get to Port Vale game. Yeah, it should be an interesting one. Port Vale, of course, me and Neil will be going to that as well. Even into Rob as well, 1883. Even into you. Keep smashing the like button as well. Keep getting your thoughts down below. Of course, again, what was your thoughts on, Taylor and Conley? Sort of apart from the goal, they were pretty solid still, weren't they?
Yeah, for the most part. Again, you cannot those two centre halves. You look at them and you don't really. No one really talks about them anymore, because you get what you get. They are. You'll always get a 9 and an 8 out of them pretty much every single week. Like I said, the mistake was what it was, but I didn't look at that and think, oh Christ, that's something to be worried about going into the last 5. It's just one of them things, I think, for them too. They'll kick themselves and they'll be really annoyed with it in that change room afterwards. But I wouldn't expect to see that again, to be honest. I just think it was one of them things. And you can't legislate for individual errors at the end of the day. Like, we set up right. We did all the right things that we normally do in games, which has got us to be in that top 7 mix.
Yeah.
It was a bad error between the two of them. Hemmings took it well, and then, like you said about Evans, when we just missed that someone who could give us a moment to just open a door, like very much like Barrow at home. Yeah. Had a lot of the ball, moved it. They were resolute. We couldn't find the opening, but the moment turned up. And you're probably right. We are missing Evans for that little bit of spark because we don't have an out and out 9 that you can say he'll definitely nick us a goal.
Yeah, I agree. Evening to Mark Gray as well. Thank you for tuning in and for the support as always. A win against Port Vale closes the gap. Yeah, it's going to be obviously the game. That's the thing. We got such a tough Easter as well. It's going to be. Both every game's massive, but especially the next 2, within 3 or 4 days with each other, and massive games. George Fitnell saying you playing Clark, Anderton, or Grant in left back for the rest of the season. We will get onto that when we will. It is an interesting topic, but we'll get onto it when we do our predictions. I think it's going to be tough, really, because obviously next up. What was your thoughts on Trevor? I thought he was really good, Trevor Clark. Thought he tried to get us up the pitch. Was very good defensively as well, with McManaman, ex-Premier League and all that, FA Cup winner, I thought he'd done a good job on McManaman, tried to get us up the pitch when he could as well.
Yeah, I like Trevor Clark. I mean, I know we've not seen much of him due to what happened at, Mansfield with the injury and then, going one round at Colchester and then an injury after that sort of thing. But what we do see of him, I really like Trevor Clark as far as especially as a left back, to be honest. I think he'd be well suited to being a wing back if we ever go back to playing that for whatever reason. But as a left back, I like him because the one thing he does do is he assesses in times when he does push on forward. He doesn't leave anyone exposed. When he goes, there's purpose. When he runs forward, he doesn't amble forward. He makes sure that he is either a decoy or an overlap. And when he tends to get the ball, positive things happen. I mean, by the sound of it, we'll get into what we're going to do with left back, but I'm more than happy with what I see of Trevor Clark, to be honest, at the minute.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because you of course Anderton, like we said, was back on the bench. Grant, done really well when he come on. It's weird because like you like what we seen of him last season, in the DM, you wouldn't have expected him to. Obviously, I think at Chelsea and he was, I think, mainly used as a centre back. But of course, when he's played left back or right back, when he's played for us, that he's done so well, and he's great defensively and going forward as well. I thought him and Leon Clark, I think, lifted us a lot when we, of course, just before, I think 3 minutes before the goal, they come on and we definitely looked a lot better, and so did Collins as well. Of course, getting on to Coots, we pretty much discussed it again. It was another good performance on him, really, wasn't it? Just in front of that back four, marshalling, using his experience and quality on the ball.
Yeah, Coots, like I keep saying every week, he's all business. Coots, he's just all business. He sees a game, he can assess exactly where it's going 10 minutes before it gets there. And he, like I said, he never deviates away from what we try to do. He always tries to do the right things and play the way we play. Coots will never cater to the team in front of him. He'll always do what is best for Rovers. He'll never go, oh Christ, like these are a good side, we'll do this, we'll adjust to do this to them. He's very pro Rovers in his own midfield. He gets his own midfield right, and regardless of result, he tends to dictate most games, Coots, because he is that good.
Yeah, I agree. Next one, Finley. What was your thoughts on Finley?
It was much the same as when did I see him the other way? Carlisle. He looked a frustrated fella again. Looked really frustrated, irritable sort of thing. And I don't think that's anything to do with the way we are as a side. It's just when he's that much of a winner. When things don't go his way, it bugs him and it gets on top of him, sort of thing. And you can sort of see it. He sort of sort of swings out and lashes out with his foot, and he looks like he's going to boot the ball away. He never does, but you can see he gets irritable because he wants to win that bad. Sort of frustrated performance from Finley, because you see he really wants to grab every game by the scruff of the neck, and sometimes you're going to meet a side that will match you. Top 7 sides, they're all pretty much decent top 7 sides for how decent League Two is.
Yeah.
And I think when Rovers aren't on top and really, really dominating for a long spell, it sort of annoys him, because that's how he wants the game to go.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he's mainly good. I thought he tried to get forward a lot as well. It's pretty much, first half and second half, it was mainly Coots just sitting back and then letting Elliott and Finley go forward. But I think he had a good shot that was deflected, done some good, turns as well. Obviously, sometimes he, like you said, he does get annoyed with himself, because he is a winner and he wants to get everything and win everything. But yeah, mainly good again, really. And of course, Elliot Anderson, we sort of talked briefly on him, that first half didn't really get into the game as much as we'd have wanted, but then second half I thought he was class. Just took the game by the scruff of the neck, got us on the front foot, got us back into it with a really good turn and finish. And yeah, I think that's 4 or 5 goals now for him, and he's just class, isn't he, Elliot?
Yeah, he is. And I think Tranmere looked to do a job on him, to be honest. They looked like they identified him as with Evans being missing, the main threat, and they looked to keep him on that touchline. And to be honest, they didn't have a great deal of success doing it, because if he wanted to go by him right on that byline, he pretty much did it when he needed to. He was running that ball pretty much on the white line a lot of the time. But he was pretty much what I saw of from where, obviously watching it on the sofa, he looked like it was going to come from him to create his own and take his own chance. That was very much how the door was going to get unlocked and how it was going to get opened up, sort of thing. For how good he is, Elliot Anderson, if someone's going to go and stick 4 men on him, he's got it all to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's got it all to do. And the goal itself, technically excellent. Knows exactly where he is in the box with his back to goal. Hit it great on the half volley, got his knee over it, low. But if you're Tranmere, you're fuming. That's bounced twice. How they've allowed that to bounce twice is like, you'd go it on our side, you go in and say that's a brilliant finish, and he's got us a point. But if you're Mickey Mellon, you're digging out your centre half there. So that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. Like, from the away, and I was looking down, I was thinking, wow, how has he got that much space in the box? A player of his quality, and they should know. They seen him getting on the front foot, they seen him getting up the pitch, they seen him spreading play and getting the ball out wide and into good areas. And what a finish, what a player. Definitely going to be playing Championship football. Don't know who for, but it's going to be interesting to see where he does go. Matt's is saying, I think Evans will be available for selection Saturday. Was a matter of not rushing him back. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather get him, make sure he's well, and not like Oldham after flipping 1-0 down, then he goes off injured after 15, 20 minutes, etc. But yeah, getting on to the wingers, what was your just comment of him now? Elliot saying, I've been disappointed with Nicholson goal return this season, 4 league goals, best player last season. Yeah, what was your thoughts on his performance? Because it was again
Harry?
No, Sammy Nicholson.
All right, yeah. You see it a lot from Sammy now, don't you? You never question his work rate and his endeavour, but sometimes you look at him and you just think he's going nowhere fast. He gets the ball when he runs. And I think if you've got a picture in your head of what you're trying to do here, because you are running and you're carrying the ball, and that's a major part of his skill set. But I just think he goes down blind alleys a lot of the time, and he and defenders sort of shepherd him into areas that I'm thinking, well, just jink here, because they're showing you that way because they want to put you down a blind alley. He's not quite at it for me at the minute, Sammy Nick, as far as his end product, really. He seemed to start very sort of central on Saturday, in central areas, which I ain't got a problem with. He's plenty capable. Like, the one thing you can't say about Sammy Nick is he hasn't got the ability to do it. He definitely is. There's definitely a player in there to play League Two football 100%. Something's just not there. It's just not clicking for him at the minute. Something's not quite right. I don't know if he's carrying summer. I don't know if he's a niggle or he's he's having injections to get him through games or whatever, because Barton clearly rates him. He clearly likes him. If Barton can get Sammy Nick on the pitch, he does. So he obviously rates him as a player and he wants him in his side. I never see Sammy Nick get the ball now and get on the edge of my seat like I used to and think there's going to be a chance here. There's going to be a door open. I almost think he's going to go down a blind alley whenever he gets it. But the one thing you can't say about him is his effort, his endeavour. He tries to do the right things all the time. He never hides. He always wants it. So I can't really dig him out too much, but there is definitely more to come from Sammy Nick.
Yeah, I agree. Even into Gordo as well. Appreciate you tuning in as always. But yeah, it's very frustrating. Like you said, I don't know what it is because I think 15. Obviously, he was out. He was out for what, about a month? So take 4 games out. So he hasn't scored in 12, 13 games. I think obviously the last goal was at Oldham when he got the consolation back. But yeah, like you said, there's just something. There's just either he's still carrying an injury, you could say confidence, etc. But it's just, I
don't see it as being confidence because he's live all the time, Sammy. Like he always wants it. He shows he wants it, and he wants to get on the ball and go and front up a fullback and get 1-on-1 and get players square to go by him. I don't think it's a confidence thing. It's just not happening for him at the minute, and it hasn't been for a little while, which makes me think he's either carrying something or it's just not going his way at the minute for whatever reason. Evans and Elliot Anderson and recently Harry Anderson might have just taken the shine off him a little bit because their end product's been excellent.
Yeah, that's the main thing in it. Like you said, you can't fault his work rate, and he always wants the ball. But like you said, he's just going down to blind alleys and making the wrong. Like I talked about, during the Tranmere preview, he's just, he's just running into nowhere really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major part of his game, traveling with the ball, and he is good at it. And it's just that decision making of where he's going to. Maybe he's overthinking it because he's not got a lot of success of late. But again, when he does get into those positions, when he does open the door, his decision making when he's throwing goals needs to be worked on massively. I mean, his goal return could be so much better than what it is. For League Two in his mid-20s, he's probably coming up to his physical peak. You'd be looking at a player like Sammy Nick coming from being the sort of the shining light with him and Macca in a relegated League One side to thinking, if Rovers play well and Sammy Nick's inside, he could be chalking up sort of 12 to 15 goals. Mm-hmm. It's just not happened for him.
Yeah. Hopefully he can, with the next, few games start getting back on the score sheet. Because like you said, everything else is good. It's just the M sort of product bit. What was your thoughts on Harry Anderson? I think obviously again work rate and that. I think, to be fair, I think their left back, I think he done really well against him, to be honest, because he obviously he's not their starting left back, but for him to come in and get given his chance against Harry Anderson, I thought their left back done well. I thought Harry Anderson tried, got past a few times, got some good balls in, but it just wasn't his best game. But I thought he still played well, but just thought their left back done a good job on him, to be fair.
Yeah, I think their lad came in for what would have been McDonald, wouldn't it? Yeah. If he wasn't suspended. But I think it reminded me. Harry Anderson's performance reminded me when he was back playing as a wing back, and he was just going down the outside of people a lot and throwing the ball in the box. Harry Anderson's best work for me is when he plays as an inverted winger and drives on the inside of people. He's strong as hell. You do well to shrug him off the ball, and when he commits a player and drives diagonally into that box, you can't touch him. And pretty much the goals that he's got for us this season have come from him being that direct on the angle and being inverted. And it looked very much like he'd gone back to on Saturday, probably because the role he was asked to play was going on the outside of fullbacks and throwing it in the box, which is, of course he can do it. It's a pretty basic part of being a wide man, but that's not the best part of his game for me, Harry Anderson. It's very much fronting up players out wide and cutting in, going inside them and getting into the box and, being untouchable.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because we didn't really see it. We've seen it a little bit in the second half, but I thought maybe Sammy and Harry Anderson could have swapped maybe a few times, because Harry Anderson's done really well on the left when he's played there.
Perhaps, but as anyone will tell you, when you play to instruction, don't you? If they switch without being told, they're getting dug out, aren't they? So it's Barton's call, really. Perhaps like I said a few weeks ago, when we were on a real purple patch and we looked like we was going to beat everyone when we played against them. When we play with them two inverted wingers rather than going on the outside of fullbacks, when we play inverted and narrow, in that final third, we look frightening. Obviously, you got to sort of look at who that was against, and when you're playing a top 7 side, you can't be that reckless. But I just think that's our best opportunity of creating proper openings and proper chances, is playing them two inverted wingers with, when he's available, Evans in that hole and Collins up top. That's what I like to see, is that sort of front four.
Yeah, I completely agree, to be honest. I completely agree. Evening to Pingo as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Keep smashing the like button if you haven't already. If you are enjoying it, do hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already either. Let's see if we can get 40 likes on the live. That would be really good. So keep smashing that if you're enjoying it. Kai saying we have to beat Salford, Port Vale, Forest Green Rovers to get top 3. It's definitely going to be hard. Obviously a lot harder, because everyone else won. Of course, it didn't go our way. Port Vale, Newport, Salford, Sutton, they all won. So it's going to be a lot hard for me. If we're going to get top 3 now, we'd probably have to win all of them. Obviously, depending on other results, because now Port Vale are 5 points ahead of us, and of course their goal difference. Of course, obviously the next 2 are focus on the first 2. Of course, Salford and Port Vale. We need to beat both of them to see where we are just before we play Forest Green. Thoughts on the Supporters Club Player of the Season vote? I haven't even seen that yet. I know it come out, but I haven't even seen it yet. I know they messed a few their faces up, said that Sam Nicholson was Sam Finley, etc. Gordo said, I think the reason Nicholson stood out last season, he was the best player in a very, very poor side, but this season had better players and better quality, hence why I think Nicholson looks me. Yeah, it's an interesting point, to be fair. Of course, next one, Aaron Collins, we talked about first half, didn't really get in the game. I think he was marked very well. And it's because he looked pretty good on the right second half when we sort of changed formation. What thoughts on him?
Much like Barton's recruitment, you're going to get hard graft first and foremost. Before anything else, they're going to put a shift in. I thought Collins done well. He tried to run. He tried as much as he could to create decoy runs, run down the side of people, try and create openings inside him. He does a lot of tireless, thankless work, Collins, where he runs without even expecting to get the ball to open up areas for other players. But he's as good as he's been recently, and he did have a little purple patch. He's not an out-and-out centre forward. He's a good attacking player, and that's why he probably did well on the right, because he can pretty much play anywhere across that from sort of 3. But he's just not someone that you're going to go, well, for me anyway, personally, I'll never look at Aaron Collins and go, that is a 20-goal man. I think he can work the line. He's learned it brilliantly. He's got better week by week at it. And a lot of his work is tireless. He opens doors for other people. Like I said, his runs are intelligent and clever. He's holding it a lot better. He's bringing people into play with how good he's being with his back to goal. Wins good fouls in good areas. Didn't have a problem with Collins, to be honest. Again, talk about a centre forward and then playing up top. Well, you're only as good as what gets created for you, and he didn't. I don't think he had a chance to miss.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think he even had a shot. So, yeah. On the list they had Brown, Kilgore. I mean, I don't know what that was then. Player of the Year vote and no Evans on it. I don't know. Would you start Leon Clark on Saturday with Aaron Collins? Maybe, but we'll get onto that in a little while. But yeah, getting on now, of course, talking about mainly, Salford. Of course, another massive game. Only 2 points separating us as well. Salford are currently 8th in the table, played the same amount of games, 118, drew 11, lost 12, currently on 65 points, whereas Rovers are on 6th, played 41, won 19, drew 10, lost 12, and are on 67. So very, very tight. We've seen, I think, if the worst comes to worst, we could go 11th on Saturday, and then if we win, we can go up to 4th. So it's pretty mad as well. But it is a massive game. I'll quickly look at Salford away form as well in the last 5. Currently, they've won 3, drew 2 as well of their last 5. Beat Hartlepool 2-0, drew of Rochdale, drew of Exeter, beat Swindon 2-1, and beat Orient. As you can see there, pretty much like our away form, it's been very, very inconsistent. Won 8, drew 4, and lost 8. Currently got 28 points. But of course, Rovers home form, on the other hand, of course, in up there with the best in the top 4 leagues at the moment. 10 games unbeaten. Hopefully we can make it 11. As you can see there, beat Bradford, beat Colchester, beat Harrogate, beat Barrow, and then drew to Exeter. So hopefully it can be 11 home games unbeaten. And getting on to the last meeting as well, of course, very, very, one of the most frustrating games I've seen us this season. Completely battered them the whole game. Of course, we went 1-0 up early as well. And of course, it was Nicholson that got the goal in the 14th minute. And Rovers playing a 4-3-3 as well, with obviously Belly in goal, Grant at right back, Taylor, Harries at centre back, Anderson left back, Coots, Whelan and Finley in the midfield. And then Collins up top, Nicholson on the right, and Evans on the left. And yeah, it was, and of course, they had 2 men sent off as well. I think they had one in like the 50th minute, and the one on the 88th minute, which was Ashley Hunter and Willock both getting sent off. And it was just, you could see it as more and more of the game went on. You could just see the chances we had. We had obviously Luke Thomas missed a sitter as well last minute. Pittman come on as well. He was the only natural striker we had in the whole starting 11 and bench. I think Harry Anderson was injured at that stage. Leon Clark, of course, been injured most of the season. But you could just see it, the amount of chances we were missing. And of course, Pittman had a goal ruled out offside as well, didn't he? Which is clearly on. And then, yeah, I think it was a bit of a mistake from us as well. And yeah, Thomas Asante, their star man this season, one to look out for, the one on the thumbnail, currently got 10 goals this season. And of course, Matt Smith, another one, ex-Bristol City, ex-Fulham, ex-QPR, ex-Millwall, who they signed in January, has definitely helped them a lot. 6 goals in 16 games since joining them. But yeah, what was your thoughts on that game? It was just very frustrating, wasn't it, to say the least?
It pretty much summed up where we were as a side that sort of time. Like, it wouldn't have happened to anyone else but us around that sort of time of the season, the way things were going with us. But it was complete and utter domination. We did everything right, but put the ball in the net. And it 1-0 up against 9 men. It's criminal to not win that game. And Barton was absolutely seething. And it's the first time you saw it of him, really. He backs his players and he defends his players a lot, but it was undefendable, really. The Luke Thomas thing, that was pretty much where he dug him out. He'd had enough of him, and he pretty much dug him out in public. And rightfully so for me. If you mess up that badly at your job, you're getting pulled in an office and spoken to, and that's pretty much what Luke Thomas did. There was no excuses for missing that chance. And that sort of game, the Salford game, the Tranmere at home game, these sort of games are ones you'll look at if we do finish, 8th or something, and go, that was where we let ourselves down.
And it was Colchester as well.
Yeah, you could rattle off probably 4 or 5 of them, but yeah, Salford away. It was much like Colchester. It was a circus, wasn't it? It was just a circus, and you just thought, when is our season actually going to get going? Because you thought, we win away at Salford, we're going to another game off the back of a good win on the road, and that win just never came.
Yeah, it's just one of those. And yeah, like you said, if we miss out on automatics by a point, or we don't even finish in the playoffs. And yeah, we've got a lot of games, and of course that are poor first half of the season. Big up to Fred as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Go make sure you go and subscribe to the Rovers Report if you already haven't. Pretty much a brand new channel, does really good content. So go and subscribe. Go and get him to over 100 subscribers. Good lad as well. Seen him at the game on Saturday. Yeah, he just saying stuck a blow. And yeah, it was just Gordo saying as well. I think the crowd will need to get like some Rob just said then as well. Only 750 tickets left. So could have had sure as well, which was very, very frustrating. Gordo saying Pittman wasn't fully fit, he was carrying an injury. Yeah, Nappers was a big fan as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens really. Please bear with my connection. I don't know why it's being crap again tonight. Of course, been very good the last sort of month or so, and then it's just done crap. So I apologise. Who do you lads least and most want to face in the playoffs? What would you say, Neil? If we was to finish in the playoffs, what would you go for?
Over two games, probably Mansfield. That's who I'd want to steer clear of, to be honest.
And who would you want to face? If there was any, even though it's playoffs and anything can happen, but what would be the team you'd want to face?
Over 2 games, probably Sutton. I just think they're clinging on by the skin of their teeth. I just think they're dead on. They're going to be dead on their feet soon. That squad shouldn't be doing. They've got to be running on empty, especially with what they've been doing in the Johnson. In the what is it? What did they get to the end of the Pizza Cup? Wasn't it
JPT?
They'd be what's it called? They'd be they should be dead on their feet. And we should have more than enough to beat them over two games anyway. You go player for player against them is as tight knit as they are, and as well as they've done. I'd fancy Rovers to beat Sutton every game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, it's hard because Sutton, you don't really know who's going to still going to make playoffs yet. There's about what 8 or 9 teams fighting for four spaces. So, but yeah, if I'd agree with you, Mansfield, I wouldn't want to face, and yeah, definitely Sutton you'd want to face. Oldham, Carlisle losses bias. Yeah, but there's so many all the games as well. Literally no worries. I'll shout out and support anyone. So no worries. Rovers may regret not having a real centre forward. Need to play 2 up front. Strikers hunt better in pairs. That's why Collins isn't scoring. Look after Matt Smith. Look at Matt Smith but again he's another one. He plays up front on his own now, but obviously he's a big man and they play off him as well. And if he got 2 goals on the weekend, robot. And I really apologise for my connection. It's just annoying. 1 minute it's all right, and then as like 2 minutes of just weirdness. So I apologise. Seeing as there's no Premier League game Friday, do you think Gary Neville will be at the Mem? Maybe. Who knows? Obviously, he was at the game when we played him, didn't he? So, yeah, should be interesting. I'd probably want to avoid Newport, says Matt. Yeah. Gordo saying Newport for me would take Northampton over 2 legs. Yeah, that's an interesting one, Northampton. But, we're going to get on to lineups now. Of course, get your lineups. Let us know, would you keep it unchanged, or if Evans would be available, would you bring him back, or maybe start Grant, Anderton? Who knows? Let us know in the comments. What would you go for, Neil? If you was to start, would you keep it the same, or bring in Evans if he's back, or what?
Yeah, for me, it'd be Sammy Nick out and Evans in to go and play in the old. To be honest, that's all I do. To be honest, I didn't see a lot wrong with Saturday. To be honest, I just didn't see much wrong with it. I just thought, we were just missing that someone to open a door and create a moment. And Evans is definitely that man. He's always been that man for us to do it. So if he's fit enough, by the sound of it, the noises were being made, he was fit enough to play sort of Saturday, but they were just being double cautious with him because of obviously it's come back to bite us, bringing him a touch early beforehand. And as far as a medical team and staff, I think Rovers have got one of the most protective medical staffs there are. Like, I think we keep players, behind probably a week to 10 days longer than we really need to, as far as being super critical. But I think he'll be fully fit Saturday. He won't be match fit, obviously, but he'll be, as far as being able to get around the pitch and do his work. If you can get 75 minutes out of Evans, you play him for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree, to be honest. Well, so yeah, I would do exactly the same. Bring in Evans as well for Nicholson. Jay saying going to be Rovers versus going to Rovers versus Forest Green, big game. Yeah, it is massive game. But yeah, I think everyone would agree, to be honest. Bringing Evans in, I think bring him back in, bit more creativity. Get Elliott back on the left where he's been playing well for us when he has played. But next up, getting into our predictions. Of course, let us know your predictions down in the comments below. Make sure you smash a like on the video as well if you are enjoying this. Do subscribe if you are new to the channel. But yeah, let us know in the comments your predictions. What are you going for, Neil? Feeling?
I mean, I watched Salford play Port Vale on the box the other night, and I wasn't overly impressed with what Salford had to offer. To be honest, they did well to get Neil going forward. To be honest, they were pretty tough. I mean, when I say everything goes through Matt Smith, absolutely everything does. The ball doesn't go forward unless Matt Smith's there to receive it, to be honest. And then they have like the likes of Asante Thomas to pick up pieces off of him, and maybe Hunter on the other side if he's available to play. But yeah, everything goes through Matt Smith. And like I said, there was a spell where Connor Taylor had a bit of a iffy month, really dealing with big lumps, and he's going to be the toughest task that he's had all season. I think Matt Smith, he's probably the best at it in the division, considering his pedigree, where he's been, where he's played. As far as a back to goal threat, Matt Smith's going to be, and Connor Taylor's probably going to be a battle that he has to win if we're going to get any success out of Saturday. So he's got a big job on his hands, and Connolly will be doing a lot of sweeping up behind him, I think, to make sure that Taylor wins the first contact. Because going back to sort of Bradford, he lost that battle for the goal. Really, Cook got in front of him, managed to hold him and pin him, flick the ball around the corner. So it's going to really have to be on his job Saturday, Connor Taylor, getting to grips with Matt Smith, because he is their outball. Whether it's at fullback, whether it's in the middle of the pitch, they will bypass their midfield if they can to get the ball to him. Yeah. I sort of look at Salford and look at sort of, I don't know, Watson, Love, Matty Lund. I just think our midfield's better than that. Our midfield superior to what theirs is. And yeah, I fancy us to win at home. I just fancy us to beat him at the Mem. I like I said about us being a goal threat, I don't think there's loads of goals in us, but I expect us to get our noses in front and work our way through the game to stay that way, whether it be sort of 1-0, 2-0. Let's go 2-0. Yeah, I just fancy us to win. Salford. Yeah. From what I saw of them against Port Vale, they didn't. I didn't look at them and go, Christ, they're a decent outfit. But everything goes through Matt Smith. You get to grips with Matt Smith, you've pretty much nullified him.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks to Chris. Appreciate you tuning in. Saying big up, guys. Smash the like button if you're watching. Absolutely do smash the like button. And thanks for tuning in as well, Chris. Appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Also, but yeah, I agree. Matt's also going with the formation 4-2-1-3. Belshaw, Hall, Taylor, Connolly, Clark, Coots, Finley, Elliott, Harry on one wing, Leon Clark on the other, up front, and then Collins on the wing. That's an interesting one. I haven't seen that, but yeah, like we said, me and Neil both said only make one change. Evans in for Sammy if Evans is fit, and yeah, try and get 75 minutes out of him. I think we'll do Forest Green. I think that game will be defined him. Fred's gone for a 3-0 Rovers. Very confident. Rovers come at the box, flying in the crowd. and the crowd roars us to victory. That's an interesting one. 3-0. I'd love that. And like you said, Neil, you said a clean sheet as well. So I hope so. Yeah, keep getting your predictions down in the comments. Let us know what you think the score's going to be. Matt's is going for a 1-0. Jax Ford is going with a 1-0 also. Saying again, trust me, Cootsy scores all business. George saying, if Evans is fit, yeah. Evans in the cam and Elliot out wide. Yeah. Riley, no, George saying 3-1 as well. Big score. Riley saying 2-0 Gas. We're unbelievable at home. Yeah, gotta keep the home form going. Hopefully make it 11 games. That'd be crazy. Chris saying no problem at all. You know me, I'm a Spurs fan, but up the Gas. Yeah. Love it. Appreciate it, Kirst. Kinger saying 2-0 Rovers, another clean sheet. Elliot Davis saying, would we have taken this lead this year, even early in the game? I'm very confident of 3 points. Cootsy and Billy Anderson to score. Elliot also going with a 1-0 Rovers win. I'm going to say it's a tough one. I'll say 2-1. I think with Asante and Smith, I think obviously, like you said, if we can stop it going through Smith, then maybe 2-0. But I just think they're pretty good from set pieces. We've looked a bit dodgy from set pieces in the last few weeks, or balls in the box, and with Smith and Thomas Asante. So yeah, I'll go 2-1, but hopefully a clean sheet. George saying recent thumbnails looking clean as well, by the way. Yeah, appreciate it. I tried to change it up a bit, the thumbnails. But yeah, I'm glad you like it. Sean McGonigal saying 3-0 Salford. Wow, I hope not. Paul Davis 2-1 Rovers. Gordo 0-0. Interesting. 0-0. Rob going with a 3-2 Rovers. A lot of goals in the game. Matt's going with, I think, a first half goal from Harry Anderson. Yeah, I mean, if I was to go for a goal scorer, I'd say Collins to get back on the score sheet and Elliot Anderson again to score. So yeah, I mean, keep getting your predictions in as well. Do like the stream if you haven't already. Apologize for my connection. Looks like it's going bad again. It's so frustrating. BRC Tom, late Gas, 3-1 Gas as well. He's going. Appreciate you tuning in. Jay going as a City fan, wanting to see Bristol City relegated, then Rovers promoted. So Rovers versus Bristol City. Hope so. See you in a few years' time. Push 1-0 either way. Just think both sides will cancel each other out. Yeah, well, I think if we draw, then you can. Yeah, I think you can definitely kiss all nights goodbye. If we win and Port Vale slip up, hopefully, then we'll see. But obviously, look out as well for either. Obviously, depending on what time you get back, Neil, or whatever. We'll put the Salford preview late Friday evening, 7 or 8 o'clock, or on Saturday for the Port Vale preview. So make sure you tune for that. Make sure you got notifications on. And yeah, of course, pretty much going to end it now. But thanks to everyone for support, everyone that tuned in tonight. Of course, if you're watching on the replay, do let us know your predictions. Let us know your lineups as well. Smash the like, subscribe. And yeah, probably obviously be a few more videos out as well. I'll get a few more as well, ranking different captains or strikers, Rover strikers, etc. out in the next few weeks as well. But just make sure you always got your notifications on so you know when a video goes live. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Up the Gas.